In our last video we talked about factors, and so what I'm going to ask you is the question, is 4 a factor of 110? Now we know that, in other words, if Ali had 110 stamps, could he have put them equally in groups of 4 with none left over? Now, I want you to think about what you think would be the easiest way to do it and answer that question, is 4 a factor of 110? You can pause the video and figure that out, and when you're done you can look and see how I did it. Okay, now that you've done that, of course we could have just drawn it out, we could have counted it out, we could have got 110 pennies and tried to put them in stacks of 4. But if you don't know all your divisibility rules yet, I mean, we'll work on those in class where you can instantly know. One way you could always do it is you could do 110 divided by 4, which I'm sure some people have tried. Now, if we get a remainder, then 4 is not a factor of 110. But if we don't get a remainder, then we know that 4 is. And so 4 goes into 11 twice, and that gives us 3, and we bring down our 0. And 4 goes into 37 times, but we actually get a remainder of 2. And since there is a remainder, we know that the answer to our question is no, 4 is not a factor of 110. Let's try one more problem where we actually have to list a number of the factors of a number that have a lot of factors. Problem number 2, we're asked to list the factors of 84. Now, let me just let you know that 84 has lots and lots and lots of factors. But there's some very simple rules we can go by to figure them out. A lot of times factors are listed this way. We actually write the number and then a colon and then the factors. Now, the easiest pair of factors to start with is always 1 and itself. After all, every number is divisible by 1. And we know that 84 is 1 times 84. And I know 1 will be the smallest factor because it's the smallest natural number, and 84 will be the largest number. Now there's one more factor that should be very obvious to you, and that's actually 2. And the reason we do that is because 84 is an even number, and even numbers are always divisible by 2. And so it's actually 2 times 42 if we divided it out. Now I actually like to go in this order, and it's going to be the order that's going to be on your pink sheet I give you. But I like to look at the 2's, 5's, and 10's first anyway. And of course the 2's, 5's, and 10's are the ones where we can look at the 1's place. Since it's an even number, we know that 2 is a factor. But if it's divisible by 5, it has to end in a 5 or a 0. And if it's divisible by 10, it has to end in a 0. So we can instantly know 2, 5, and 10 when we see a number. Now the next thing I like to look at are the 3's and the 9's. And we look at the 3's and the 9's. There's a trick to the 3's and the 9's, and that's the add the digits trick. If we take 84 and we add the digits, we get that 8 plus 4 is 12. Can 12 be divided by 3? Yes, it can. So we know that 3 is a factor. Now the same digit thing works for the 9's. 8 plus 4 is 12. Can 12 be divided by 9? And the answer is no, it cannot be. And so we know 9's not a factor. Now we've got to know what goes with 3. So I can come do 84 divided by 3, and I get 28. 3 times 28 is 84. Now, finally, I can go to the next thing I look at is the 4's. Half of the even numbers are divisible by 4. Now, if you don't know a trick for it, we can always do this. We can always actually just come, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. We can always come and just divide 84 by 4. And so let's try that. Let's just do 84. I'm sorry, I have the wrong thing selected. Let's just try 84 divided by 4. And I end up getting 21. And so 4 times 21 is 84. Now, there are some other things I also know. If a number is divisible by 2 and by 3, 2 times 3 is 6, it's got to be divisible by 6. And so 6. If I do 84 divided by 6, I get 14. 6 times 14 is 84. Now I also know that if it's divisible by 3 and by 4, it's got to be divisible by 12. So 12 is also going to be a factor. And at this point, I've run out of room. There's so many. I'm going to go ahead and list my 12 down here. Okay, and so 84 divided by 12, that's actually a fact we should have memorized. That's actually going to be 7. So 7 is a factor. Okay, so we've actually covered 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5 is not a factor. 6 is a factor. 7 is a factor. Let's try 8. When 4 is a factor, 8 could be a factor, but actually I know this. 8 times 10 is 80, and 8 times 11 is 88. So 8 is not going to work. We've already figured out that 9 doesn't work and 10 doesn't work. And so the only other one that could work is 11, but we know that the 11s are actually repeated digits up to 9 times 11, right? So it goes 66, 77, 88, so it's not 11, and we've already worked up to 12. So the factors of 84 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 12, 14, 21, 28, 42, and 84. And we can check that because all of the ways we can multiply whole numbers and get 84 are 1 times 84, 2 times 42, 3 times 28, 4 times 21, 6 times 14, and 7 times 12.